How is content creation healing for ADHD brains? Now, this is something I have not seen or heard spoken about, or at least not in this way. And it's certainly not something that I would have considered asking myself a couple years ago, because content creating can be such a nerve-wracking experience and filled with, concerns regarding perfectionism and shame and just lots of worries about how you'll be perceived, many of which I've shared too. However, I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you'll have a sense of how and why content creation can be helpful for ADHD brains. And in my opinion, can be sort of an intervention in a way if content creating is something you are doing or you're interested in doing. Because ADHD doesn't just affect focus, it affects your desire, your ability to be seen, your visibility, how you show up in the world, your ability to start and do things before you're ready, and how you're able to manage and regulate your emotions. And I have been able to show up and to do the tasks related to content creation, and it has truly allowed me to build skills that I did not even know I did not even know I needed to build, and that I had struggled to access before. And the important thing I'd like to note moving forward, though, is that I did not do this alone. I have a wonderful community of people that I can turn to for support, which is another reason that content creation can be such a good thing for ADHD brains because we need support and we need community oftentimes to thrive. Creating content can be one of the hardest things for ADHD brains, not because we don't have things to say. I mean, I hear all the time, particularly from my patients, and I know from experience that people with ADHD often love to talk, right? And can talk a whole lot. However, because there are three very predictable kind of roadblocks or struggles that come up um, when it comes to ADHD that is directly related to content creating. And the first of those that I can think of right now are rejection sensitivity, right? Being afraid of being judged. What are people going to think? Oh gosh, my hair, my X, my Y, my Z, and how are people going to perceive me? And that prevents you from stepping out there and doing something that you really want to do, something that can open up opportunities for you, something that you know would likely benefit you or benefit your work or benefit your family. The second predictable struggle is related to perfectionism, being unwilling or unable to start or do the thing without things being perfect. There's a fear of what can happen if things are not perfect. What will people say? What will the outcome be? And again, that prevents you from taking the first step or even moving towards the goal. The third predictable struggle is task activation, issues related to kind of getting started, taking that first step, breaking things down into ordered steps, planning things, and moving forward. The great thing about all of that, and those are just three things that might come up, but maybe you struggle with others. But again, the great thing about this is that they're predictable. We know that they're going to come up, and we know that for many people, they're universal. Even though we're not all affected by everything or to the same degree, we have a general sense of the issues that are going to pop up. And that allows us to, ironically, plan ahead. The great thing about content creation, which we'll discuss in a couple minutes, is that it allows us to practice things and practice them in a way that we can work on those struggles. We can practice and build our muscles, build our skills to kind of combat those struggles so we can move forward and do the thing. Creating content forces ADHD brains to practice the skills we struggle with the most. And I'm going to talk about four of those. And the first is activation. When you hit record, you have practiced and are practicing breaking things down into steps, planning, um, lowering emotional resistance to doing the thing that you need to do, and also building your capacity and ability to tolerate discomfort. The second thing that we practice is resilience in terms of shame. We have People with ADHD have so many ways that shame shows up. Shame for not finishing things, not being able to start things, not being as productive. And creating content exposes you to the fact that things are okay. You publish that video or you publish that text or that thread post and you didn't die, right? Whoever you were worried that was lurking, maybe, hopefully, did not come out and bash you or whatever. Catastrophic thing you were expecting did not happen. You lived to create another post. The third thing is emotional regulation. So many feelings and thoughts might come up. Your heart might be racing, sweaty palms. You might have all these thoughts about this, that. And when you do or practice content creation, you practice working through that and figuring out that it is okay and that you can push through and figuring out how you're able to do that. The ways of practicing that work for you. The fourth struggle that we are forced to practice with content creation is dopamine engagement. Creating content, creativity is novel, it's stimulating, and that feeds that part of the ADHD brain, feeds those needs of the ADHD brain. And so, in my opinion, these are positives. One, because they're predictable, and two, we are forced to practice and to build those skills, build those new pathways in our brains, and realize that it's okay. For me, I found everything that I've shared to be true. And in addition to those things, creating content has made me a more attuned clinician to what my patients experience, to, what people out there want to hear about and struggle with. Couple of other things that I think are important to consider are that when you storytell, as we do in content creating, you're forced to organize information in a clear and linear way, which is a workout for your executive function. And secondly, content creating can often help with self-esteem, seeing yourself reflected back to you in a meaningful way. So, in my opinion, the truth is that content creation is not just for influencers, it's for everybody, particularly people with ADHD brains, because it's a practice, it's a set of muscles. You're learning skills, tools that will help us not just with content creation, but in other areas of life as well. Learning the systems that work for you, showing up when your things are not perfect, showing up before you're ready, pushing record or typing that thread message and being vulnerable, putting things out there, learning to deal with shame, learning to deal with emotions, building community, rewiring our brains so that we can make the decisions and take the actions that we want. Learning that you can start, you can be seen, you can have community, and that it's okay. And so, if any of these are things that you're struggling with, or need support in, just reach out. I'd be happy to help. Again, if this resonates with you, like, share, comment.